Hi, thank you for joining me today. I am Jackie Horton, your virtual wellness and health specialist. I'm here to promote wellness and good health. Hi, welcome to my channel. I am Jackie Horton, your virtual wellness and health specialist. I'm here to promote wellness and good health, amplify lifestyle behaviors, as well as uplift things that we're doing. In recognition of Mental Health Monday, I'm going to talk a little bit about in celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., one of our premier prominent civil rights leaders of the 60s, who really, took a stance against racial barriers and institutions that kept, people of color and maybe in a Black person out of a lot of opportunities for prosperity, for equality, for civility, for justice. So what made me think about using this wonderful day, which is Mental Health Monday, to talk about, the services of people like Dr. Martin Luther King, I thought about the barriers, barriers of life that are presented, some that are within our own personal lives, just from our thinking can be our barrier, and also some of those things that are external to us that, we sometimes feel like we just don't have any control over. And those situations are also barriers that seem to cause, some thoughts of feeling defeated and feeling, like there's no way of changing things, feeling hopeless. And when I think about Dr. Martin Luther King and this day in thinking of barriers, I use in the opportunity to talk about these barriers as boundaries as well. And I believe boundaries are not only used for what's happening externally, but it's also what happens internally to us as well. So thinking about barriers that take place where they're self-imposed or where they're society imposed, I want to look at those barriers as a way of being useful to our continued growth. For without those barriers, I do think there's a possibility of, some narcissism behavior or feeling self-righteous. And this can go across the gamut of any type of situation where we sort of lose some grounding in our foundation in being able to really do better, to really improve ourselves. And I do believe Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., with his whole wonderful selflessness, the barriers that were presented before him caused him to go into a better place of thinking of how to remove those barriers in a way that it does not lead to further divide. It really cause others to you have to think about how it could cause others to become together. And when I'm in session with, individuals or couples, I do learn about the different barriers that they may have become accustomed to because they were developed out of their own need for self-preservation, protection, desire to hold things together. It could be a number of reasons why someone intentionally creates a self-imposed barrier, as well as why some barriers that are for the greater amount of people, for the larger population as far as society, are presented in that same way. It is to preserve something. It is to protect something. It is to, control something. It is to limit something. It is done intentionally for the sake of something that's being seen as better than. And so I don't want to just completely use barriers as looking at it as something that could lead you to feel defeated and feel hopeless. I try to talk to clients about how does this barrier benefit you? And that's really a question where I'm hoping that they can be shifted in their thinking so they can think about the possibilities of of the barrier being something they can lay down and step on and continue to step on until they achieve or accomplish their desired goal. So that goes back to the piece of how barriers are boundaries. And those boundaries are not only to preserve and protect you, but it also gives the others, the outside forces, also a limit to what they can do and what they can't do with you. And it just provides all of us a guide to how we interact with one another and how we, come about in making sure that these barriers aren't imposed in a way where it prevents, something or someone from moving. And that's really the key. When the barriers is no longer a safety boundary, but it is really there to kind of like stop, someone from prospering or someone from getting to a better place or someone or something from happening to improve a situation, then that's when it needs to be really, really taken a look at. And looked at in two different ways. One is this barrier useful for my progress and improvement? Or is this barrier really a barrier in the sense that I am not even improving, that I am not able to grow, that is also leading me to a place of hopelessness and defeat? And I kind of use both of those paths to just really shift the thinking in order to bring the person or the situation back into the person's hand, and reinforcing that, and reinforcing the idea and the belief that we can do something about this. This is not totally out of our control. And that's the beauty of when you think about certain things in life, once you come out of a really tough situation and you start to sort of think about what took place, how it was helpful, how it led you to a better place, a better thinking, a better improvement of yourself, you start to kind of applaud the opportunity to have gone through that process and been able to kind of like really nail down what the barrier was and where was the barrier created from, in order to just kind of help you continue to kind of build upon that. So our barrier can become our stepping stone to a better life. That's my whole point. And that's why I think it's really important, in order for, even when I meet with somebody in therapy, is, I use those two parallel processes, because I want to kind of see if they're able to see the barrier that's been placed on them as a boundary for them and for others, and that it actually did lead to their development and growth and maturity in order for them to achieve the next session or the next season in their life. So, happy Mental Health Monday. Barriers can be healthy boundaries. Let's remember Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., in that being a service-oriented mindset. And that it means, once we get into a mindset of really being able to really use our state of being a service to others, that barriers can still be useful and practical to get us to the next place. So enjoy your Monday, Mental Health Monday, and thank you for joining me. I am Jackie Horton, your virtual wellness and health specialist. Have a great one. I'll see you tomorrow, Tuesday, for Healthy Body, Healthy Organs. Be blessed.